Hey people, I've just finished listening to Mike Tyson, The Undisputed Truth, which is Mike Tyson's autobiography on Audible. Usually I talk about how long the book is or whatever, or how much it costs. I don't know. I got a free trial with Audible. I don't know how long the book is. It maybe took me a week to listen to, so it's probably 20 hours plus. I would not have gone and bought Mike Tyson's autobiography, but I got it because I was able to get it for free on Audible. And I'll tell you what, it was absolutely amazing, absolutely fascinating. If you like stories about, you know, excess or stories of crazy behavior or stories of betrayal or any of that or stories of adventure, it's all in there for you. If you like stories of the underdog rising to the top, it's all in there for you. But as you probably all know, Mike Tyson rose to the top and then fell all the way back down. He also likes pigeons, in case you didn't know that. I'm guessing most people know more about Mike Tyson than I do, or certainly more than I did before I read the biography. When I was growing up in the 80s and 90s, Mike Tyson was, in the press, this persona who was just sort of portrayed as this terrible person, this drug addict, this rapist, this horrible, horrible monster. Um, but boy, I'd never actually seen him fight. And reading the book, I went and watched a few of his fights on YouTube. Oh my god, the guy was amazing. I mean, I'm even going to say, I thought Muhammad Ali was great, and he was, the greatest, but the ferocity and just the sheer power and domination that Mike Tyson took to the ring. And this is a guy who won his heavyweight title, who became the youngest ever heavyweight champion of the world at the age of 20. As a 13-year-old kid, knocking out grown men whilst he was training. He would go to boxing tournaments, and parents of other children would pull out their children because they knew this Mike Tyson guy was going. I mean, he was ferocious. Now, I'm not one who's saying, oh, ferocity is very good and violence is good, but the guy was a boxer. There was nobody like him. He says in the biography that nobody had made that much money that fast ever in boxing. He made hundreds of millions. Don King, the boxing promoter, clearly screwed him out of hundreds of millions, um, as did several of his associates. But this was a poor, poor, underprivileged, I'm talking super underprivileged, black kid from the States, Brownsville, the ghetto as he calls it. His associates were thieves, pimps, murderers. All of his friends died. A rough, rough background. I'm not saying any of that to glamorize it. I'm just saying that to show what he came from. I, you know, what he saw. Children, people grow up, and they're often a reflection of their childhood. How many people have I met who say, "Oh, I hate my dad. My dad cheated on my mum. He's an asshole." And then guess what they do? They go and cheat on their wives, and they're complete assholes, right? So your childhood does imprint you, does steer or give you certain propensity for certain personality traits and behaviors. At the end of the book, Mike comes out very openly, very honestly, and says what he thinks of himself. He has very, very low self esteem, but a very, very powerful ego, which has always been his enemy. I mean, this guy was self destructive. The rape conviction, Mike Tyson, the convicted rapist, absolute bullshit. I think, my opinion, the law in the US, now don't forget these things took place in the US, the law in the US seems a lot more malleable than the law in the UK. The law in the UK, I think, is the best law in the world. In the US, if you're black, you're at disadvantage. If you're rich, you're at advantage. The law doesn't stay steady. It depends on the opinion of you. The opinion people had of Mike Tyson, this young black kid, this brash black kid who swore and used the word, well, I'm not going to use the word, and this and that. Oh, and he's a rapist. Women were throwing themselves at this guy. And then women would come out and say, "Oh, he touched my ass. He did that. He did this." They were all after money. I truly believe that. I mean, if you read into it, it's just ridiculous. The rape conviction. I think pure bullshit. Was he sexually active? Hell yeah. This was a guy in the ghetto who could open a window and women would look and say, "Oh my God, it's Mike Tyson." Then they'd run up and there'd be orgies at whatever house it was at. Simple as that, right? Anyway, so that's out the window. And this horrible picture painted of him, and he got treated terribly unfairly. Everyone, oh, Mike Tyson, a monster. Bill Clinton was, horrified when Mike Tyson bit Holyfield's ear off. Watch the fight on YouTube. Holyfield repeatedly on both fights headbutted Mike Tyson, headbutted Mike Tyson, headbutted Mike Tyson. But the referee was very pro Holyfield. Holyfield, I may be saying it incorrectly. Now, sure, I see on YouTube they've spoken to each other and they've apologized, but Mike wasn't necessarily the monster. Early in his career, by the way, Holyfield bit an opponent's shoulder and drew blood. What happened to him? He got a point deducted. What happened to Mike Tyson? A 1-year ban and a $3 million fine. Now, it's not just boxers. There was a Canadian hockey player, who took his hockey stick, smashed another player's ankle, smashed it, broke it. What happened to him? Oh, nothing, because he wasn't the bad black man. He wasn't Mike Tyson. What happened to him? Nothing, but he went on TV a bit later and said, I'm sorry for what I did, but it sure felt good, and he became a national hero. You know, Mike Tyson's done a lot of bad stuff, but he's been awfully vilified. He's been taken advantage of. I won't stand up for him anymore. Obviously, you can see this book's giving me a bit of enthusiasm for the guy. It's a fantastic book. And then just watching those fights, I mean, it was incredible. Forget being a kid and watching Bruce Lee and being blown away. I'm an adult and I watched this guy fight and I thought, oh my God. He was unstoppable. He was completely unstoppable. And then he lost the will to fight and he got the shit beaten out of him a few times. He didn't love fighting anymore. He was doing it for the money. I mean, the guy blew through so much money. And he had so much money taken from him. This was a guy who says, I did it for glory, I never cared about money. And this was a guy who'd give, away $1 million pieces of jewelry to homeless people. And he took his money and he spent it, but he didn't spend it all on himself. Hell, if he had tried to, he wouldn't have been able to because of the women in his life. I mean, read about the marriages. Oh my God, talk about a naive guy being taken advantage of. And now he's married. The end of the book is a lot about how he rebuilt his life and the struggles he's still having, and it makes for fascinating reading, or listening, I should say. Fascinating listening. I mean, certainly I didn't know much about Mike Tyson beforehand. He was just a scary black guy who knocked the shit out of everybody when I was growing up. And then in the 90s, he got knocked on his ass by a few fighters, and he basically fell. Every star falls. But then obviously he was in a hangover and everything. He's rebuilt his life. And I read that Forbes estimated his career earnings might have been 680 million. 680 million in the 80s and 90s. Half of that was probably pocketed by Don King and those lot, and he never even heard about it. And the guy was in prison, and how that was. Really amazing story. And now there's talk of Mike Tyson making a comeback. People are, oh, don't do it, and he should do it, and this and that. It's crazy how this rape conviction follows him around. He has done lots of TV appearances. He does a TV appearance, and people write into the channel, women's groups, saying, don't let him on the show. He's a convicted rapist. I will repeat, that conviction is bullshit. But read the book. It's really good. Or listen to the book as I do. I actually enjoy reading books more than I enjoy listening to them, but I got Audible, so, I'm going to listen to some books. Mike Tyson, Undisputed Truth, I give it a 10 out of 10. I would have loved to see one of his one-man shows. I'm quite excited about his comeback. I hope he doesn't get hurt, but it's what he wants to do, and I believe he'll put on an amazing show, if nothing else. So, do I recommend it? Yes, 10 out of 10. Did I enjoy it? Yes, 10 out of 10. Am I now a Mike Tyson fan? Not a fan, an admirer? Somebody who has a bit of respect for him, who knows more about him than I used to? Definitely. So, there you go. I thought it was great.